What if I told you the political drama world just got its biggest reunion since The West Wing, but with a twist no one saw coming? A shocking presidential death, a deeply flawed woman suddenly thrust into power, and two of Hollywood's most powerful performers, Allison Janney and Bradley Whitford, back together again. But this time, they're not running The West Wing. They are the drama. Welcome to The Diplomat, Season 3, where the line between ambition and destruction blurs, and the world gets to see what happens when Grace Penn, a woman who never asked for the presidency, becomes America's commander-in-chief. Allison Janney and Bradley Whitford, two legends of American television, haven't shared a screen this emotionally charged since their unforgettable time on The West Wing. For years, fans have fantasized about what would happen if C.J. Cregg and Josh Lyman ever ended up together in some alternate political universe. And now that fantasy has finally found its mirror image in The Diplomat, Season 3, where Janney steps into the powerful and complex role of Grace Penn, a brilliant yet deeply flawed politician who unexpectedly becomes the President of the United States. But this isn't the reunion on the nose that everyone assumed it would be. No. As Allison Janney herself says, these are two very different characters. You'll soon forget CJ and Josh and start to really get into Grace and Todd. Their relationship is messy, complicated, and painfully real. This is not nostalgia. This is reinvention, and it's fiercer, deeper, and more unpredictable than anyone expected. Season 3 of The Diplomat opens with chaos. "Madam President, what happened?" one aide gasps. The answer comes coldly. President Rayburn died 4 minutes ago. In that instant, Grace Penn, a woman the political world had long underestimated, becomes the new President of the United States. It's a shocking, bittersweet twist, one that mirrors the real-world longing America still feels for its first female president. Allison Janney's portrayal of Grace isn't that of a flawless hero. She calls her a terribly flawed woman, but one who's up to the task. Grace Penn is ambitious, calculating, but also strikingly human, willing to make brutal choices in a world that constantly underestimates her because she's a woman. Janney explains, she's grown up through the ranks in politics. People underestimate her, and that's her superpower. For viewers, that's the emotional hook. Grace Penn represents every woman who's been told, "You can't," and then does it anyway. And then comes Bradley Whitford. His return marks what fans have been begging for. The reunion of two television icons, reimagined in a fiery, mature dynamic. Whitford plays Todd Penn, Grace's husband, a man who suddenly finds himself in unfamiliar territory as the first gentleman. A man who's used to power now has to stand behind it, and that's where the real tension begins. Bradley Whitford admits, it's very confusing for Todd. His gyroscope has been flicked. He's always loved Grace's strength and brilliance, but I don't think he saw this coming. He continues, Todd doesn't quite know how to handle being in a supportive position. He's used to leading, and now he's married to the President of the United States. Their dynamic isn't romantic fluff, it's a battle of equals. Two people who love each other deeply but also compete in the most high-stakes environment imaginable. Whitford jokes that being back on set with Janney felt like putting on an old pair of pajamas, or maybe shoes. He laughs, calling her one of the greatest actors on the planet. That comfort, that shared history, radiates on screen. You can feel years of friendship and tension colliding in every glance, every argument, every quiet moment of doubt between them. The magic of The Diplomat, Season 3 doesn't just come from its writing, it's born from the real-life emotional connection between these two powerhouse performers. Behind the camera, showrunner Deborah Kahn and director Alex Graves, both alumni of The West Wing, have returned to shape this emotionally charged world. Their touch gives the show that familiar pulse, sharp political dialogue, layered relationships, and moral complexity. But now with the added weight of time, experience, and evolution. Allison Janney says it felt strangely comfortable, like coming home but to a house filled with new memories. For Whitford, it was pure joy. To lock eyes with her again, to share scenes that demand everything from you. It's an incredible gift. Their synergy shows in how naturally they move between love and rivalry, trust and betrayal. Viewers can sense that these two aren't just acting. They're reliving a professional love story that defined an era of television. When the first trailer for The Diplomat Season 3 dropped, fans exploded online. Social media platforms like X, formerly Twitter, lit up with comments like "CJ and Josh reborn," and "Finally, the reunion we didn't know we needed." It was as if the entire fandom of the West Wing had woken from a 20-year dream to find it reborn in a more daring, modern form. Critics immediately praised Allison Janney's performance as a tour de force, highlighting her ability to portray Grace Penn not as a saint, but as a painfully real woman, one who makes mistakes, questions herself, and keeps fighting anyway. Meanwhile, Bradley Whitford has been hailed as the emotional anchor of the season, a man redefining masculinity and partnership in a world where his wife literally runs the free world. Even former West Wing cast members couldn't resist commenting on the reunion. Rumors began circulating about whether Josh Malina might join the cast of The Diplomat, but Whitford quickly shut that down, joking, "We will not let that happen." He laughed, teasing that the chemistry between himself and Janney is sacred territory. But behind all the wit and nostalgia lies a deeper, darker twist. Beneath the surface of Season 3, there's a growing alliance between Grace Penn and a shadowy political figure named Hal, a man as cunning as he is dangerous. When Janney first read that script, she said, "This is going to complicate our personal lives a lot," and she wasn't exaggerating. Hal, mischievous and morally gray, becomes a mirror to Grace, someone who understands her hunger for control and her willingness to take risks. He's the kind of man who knows how to bend the rules and walk through the back door of power. Grace sees him as a kindred spirit, someone who thinks the way she does, someone unafraid to get his hands dirty. But this connection threatens everything she's built, especially her marriage to Todd Penn. Bradley Whitford, ever the jokester, summed it up perfectly with one line that sent the internet spiraling, "He's a great asset, with a great ass." It's messy, sharp, and exactly the kind of political drama fans can't get enough of. But beyond the relationships and political games, The Diplomat carries something much larger. A reflection of real-world power, dynamics, and gender politics in America. For the first time, viewers are watching a woman not just break the glass ceiling, but rule from above it. Allison Janney admitted that playing Madam President Grace Penn was a powerful, almost bittersweet experience. "It wasn't lost on me," she said, "that I was being sworn in as president just after another U.S. election where America still couldn't elect a woman. It was bittersweet, but I hope this helps normalize seeing a female president in real life." That statement hit hard for millions of viewers who've long imagined what that moment might feel like. A female leader in the White House who isn't a fantasy, but a living, breathing possibility. For audiences, that's what makes The Diplomat more than entertainment. It's a mirror, showing what America could be, and maybe what it should have been by now. It's the dream of equality wrapped in the realism of politics, told through the artistry of two of Hollywood's most beloved veterans. When you think of the West Wing, you think of idealism, a government run by people who wanted to do good, who believed in hope, who fought with purpose. But The Diplomat? It's the grown-up version of that ideal. The dream has aged just like its audience. It's more cynical now, more scarred, but still fighting for something better. Allison Janney and Bradley Whitford have taken what once was nostalgia and turned it into evolution. Their reunion isn't a callback, it's a rebirth. It's a reminder that television can still be intelligent, emotional, and deeply human. That stories about power and love don't have to be black and white, but can live in that fascinating, dangerous gray. As production continues, fans are already demanding to know what's next for President Grace Penn and Todd. Can their marriage survive the weight of the Oval Office? Or will ambition, betrayal, and the ghosts of power finally tear them apart? It's a revolution, one that puts two of the greatest actors of our time back in their rightful place, at the heart of America's most powerful story.